this is Joe from JLD Travels, finally back with a new video today. We've actually come across a different YouTuber that I've not come across before, also dealing with the whole passport situation and basically why he thinks that foreigners started to choose Filipino wives more than choosing Western obviously women for their wives. This guy's called Babsi Rants, I think he's called, and obviously he's got his Filipino alongside him. And we're going to jump in and see what he has to say, and jump in here and there with some, my own talking points. So we'll jump right in and see how we go.
They always, bring home constant debates.
Fighting with their man. Women in the Philippines, from my perspective.
Of course, passport bros to come here. Because of that independence. Western men likes Asian women because
you can do a massage. Who doesn't like massage?
You're spoiled,
Yeah.
Now that you mention all of these, we don't have to criticize these men.
Are you a man from the West looking for a fine woman and you have a passport? Welcome to Passport Bros.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about passport bros. I first heard it
from me.
From you about 2 weeks ago or a month ago.
Yeah, it's all over TikTok. All over the internet.
Yeah, so I never even heard about it, and then she brought it up. There is a little bit of hype.
And taboo around it too,
yeah.
Like taboos that we don't really want to talk about, but it exists, like when people says that Western men likes Asian women because of this. Most of the contents I see from Western women talking about passport bros and about you guys coming to places like the Philippines or any other third world countries is the fact that women there are much more ignorant than in the Western hemisphere. What do you think about that one?
Anyhow, I think in general, if you think about it, people and men and women, they tend to get the things they don't normally have, like too often. So as an example, like if you have a straight hair, you would love to have a curly hair.
Yeah, that's true.
If like Filipinas, normally they have a dark color skin. They are trying to become white.
Right.
And
skin whitening products are everywhere. Narrative in the Philippines, the more lighter skinned you are, the more appealing and attractive you are in these countries. So it goes both ways.
That's where I'm from. So we are white skin, and we are always trying to get the dark skin. We want the things which we normally don't really have. It's not that common.
Very natural.
Yeah, going back to passport bros.
Or boys. It's so weird. I see different statements. Passport bros and passport men and passport boys. Let's not stick to the boys, okay? Let's talk about the men. The men on here. Let's just stick to that audience, alright? You're not a boy. You're my man.
Basically, I'm from East Europe. I'm from Moldova.
And what about Moldova?
Yeah, not too many people know about that country. So whenever I say Moldova, it's always the reaction is like, oh, Mongolia, oh, Maldives, Monrovia. So what we're East Europe. Basically, we speak Russian and Moldovan language, so the culture is very similar. Anyhow, so the women in our place in East Europe, I would say, like Moldova, Russia, Ukraine, Belarus, like these countries, that region, I would say in general they are quite balanced in terms of being feminine.
Yeah.
Basically, cooking, cleaning.
Very traditional there too.
Yeah, they're very traditional, like taking care of the man. At the same time, they are also career oriented.
Oh yeah.
So you would see basically our women like working, pursuing basically careers.
Right.
So doing basically the things from
like traveling
both,
too.
Both sides.
I feel like it's a Western thing. It's a very common thing that majority of the young folks, men and women, tend to always gravitate to traveling in their 20s. Like in the Philippines, we don't travel, right? When we pursue our career path and we're pursuing adulthood at the age of 20, we tend to stay and really focus on working and, you know, providing for families and not really having time for ourselves that much, you know, that our 20s is dedicated to build a future for our families. So when we see women and men from East and West countries traveling when they're 20s, for us, it's a little bit like, wow, what kind of, like, how independent these people are. So does that like one of the traits that you know, force passport bros to come here? You know, because of that independence.
Looks like women in the West, as we go like to the West
Hemisphere.
side. Yeah, like USA, Canada, UK, like these kind of countries.
Yeah.
Looks like women there are really fighting for their independence and being strong individuals.
Yeah.
And doing all
Modern
those
women.
things, all those things which are leaning more towards, like, you know, masculine side.
Yeah,
And they're really, like, you know, fighting with their man. They're trying to prove so many things.
I feel like it's a constant debate at home, which is weird because, like, in the Philippines, I'm speaking as a Filipina, we don't really do that, you know, like when our man is at home, we love to take care of them. We don't want any type of political debates. Like, we don't even want to talk about political stuff, you know. We just want to talk about nurturing stuff and comfortable stuff and stuff that truly matters to us in the household, in the family dynamic, like futuristic goals and what we love about each other, you know, and joking. Like, I think laughing with your spouse or your partner is so crucial in the household because it brings you closer together. And I feel like, you know, this is such a therapy for both parties. You know, after a long day working for the man and also the woman, like at the end of the day, you don't want to debate on who's the best and, you know, who's agreeable, who's not agreeable. You know, we just laugh at certain things. So I think that's what I observe in the women from the West is they always, you know, bring home constant debates. If they don't hear exactly what they want to hear, it's kind of spark a debate constantly. And I feel like, Filipinas in general, we tend to keep quiet on those things. Politics, we put it aside. We're not interested in that at all, you know, most times. Yeah, honey.
Miss Universe speech?
Well, yes, definitely.
It looks like in the West, women are really trying hard to be as independent as possible. And for men, this is not very appealing. I mean, men do not want to date another man, right? We really want to be in a feminine energy, you know? So it looks like, very often men from the West are really trying to go abroad and to find women from South America, from Southeast Asia, East Europe.
And there's nothing wrong with that, I feel like.
Where women are a little bit more feminine.
I want to put my 2 cents on the fact that, but there's probably...
Yeah, I just want to chime in quickly. Like, I do genuinely like how they both think, because she literally just stated that obviously it shouldn't really sort of matter like who you're falling in love with, who you get married to, and where that is. Like, for me, that's exactly how I see things. Like, the person, whether their skin color might be different, their first language might be different, their country might be different, their religion may be different, their sexuality may be different, because you can't choose who you fall in love with. That's just something that just instinctively happens inside you, and just something inside you just knows that this person, she, he, or what they happen to be, that's who you love, that's who you want to be with. And then obviously the feelings then mutually return because they feel the same things you do when you look at them, when they look at you. And I don't understand why these Western women just really want to regurgitate basically like a mainstream media talking point in politics. And it's just the same few little main points that are just regurgitated, because I've seen so many of these TikTok videos now, and it's just the same stuff over and over and over and over. And then the ones that just get stupidly overly salty over when some East Asian ladies decided to sort of strike back at this. They're then trying to now basically say like passport bros as a P word in a not very nice way, and they're just so desperate to make these Western men to look like predators, if that's the right word to use, and it's just not like that at all, and it's putting a stigma on people that there isn't a stigma to be put on, and at the end of the day, it's up to these foreign men and foreign women if they choose to fall in love with each other, and then yeah, that's just how it is. And we'll jump back in.
A lot of men who likes the masculine energy. Do you know what I mean? So it's all about preference, I feel like. So a lot of people is not shitting on those people. You know, it's always the opposite that gets a lot of criticism and feedbacks. And I feel like it goes both ways. Like if you are in that masculine energy as a female, there's a lot of men that resonates with that, and that's perfectly fine. You know, we don't have to criticize these men. Do we think do we believe do we believe that this would work? Honestly, no, because we tend to gravitate towards what's natural and what works as men and women. I know there's a lot of changes right now in our society, but at the end, like we're naturally made. You know, whatever you believe in, you know, that is evident that we are part of the course of nature. And so if we tend to gravitate against it, it's always going to cause problems for us. So, yeah. Do you think so, baby?
That's what's up.
So,
yeah, so our women in the Philippines, from my perspective, they are definitely more feminine. Even than in East Europe. So definitely they are okay with really like taking care of a man and to be basically a full housewife. Like they also can be career oriented and basically work and stuff, but I feel like if a man is a really good provider, then they would actually enjoy more being a housewife.
Right, exactly.
You know? So they would be okay to stay at home, to take care of the kids, to take care of the household, and then not deal with too much, basically, career path.
Yeah,
you know?
Career path. Like it's not about settling. You know, a lot of people like, they settle being a housewife. It's not about settling. It's about, you know, gravitating towards family life. And I think that's a beautiful thing. Don't you think so?
I think so.
It's better than gravitating towards becoming a CEO. Like, literally, you are the CEO of family life. You know, people always, it's such an underrated thing, taking care of family. But if you really think about it, families determine our society. Families, taking care of families determine what kind of society we have. And so for people always putting that as something so small and minute and insignificant, I think that that's a very wrong perspective to go into, because at the end of the day, we are born ignorant. Like, we are born literally with no knowledge, and only having a good family dynamic would bring us to a point where, you know, we thrive as a society, we thrive as an individual. So having a woman that runs the household in a very efficient and effective way, to me, it's inspiration. Honey, welcome to Babsi Rants, and I'm Babsi.
What do I think actually about you as my partner? So she's a Filipina, and she's my fiance.
She's Babsi.
And what I can say about you.
Hello, you.
She's such a nice human being. Most of the time, she's just happy. You know, she's a happy person, and when you are together with a happy person, you just feel good. Cooking for me every single day. She does like such a nice meals for me. I just
shout out.
I just love her cooking. She's cleaning. She's taking care of basically our place. And whenever I come home, she's always super excited to see me. Yeah, so I definitely feel great when I'm together with her. As a matter of fact, I'm looking forward to go home and to be here because
You're throwing things
just
around, throwing words around.
I just feel great when I'm together with her. And at the same time, she is working.
Yeah.
And she is busy with her own things. So definitely she is very universal.
Miss Universe.
She's singing.
Yeah.
She's playing piano and guitar. So at times we have like those dates at home.
You're spoiled,
Yeah.
Now that you mentioned all of these.
Yeah, she can sing for me. She can play for me. At times when I'm very tired, she can do a massage. Who doesn't like massage? I don't know. Overall, she is treating me like a king, and yeah, I mean, I don't want anyone else when I get such 5-star treatment. And it's not just like for a couple of weeks. It's been already like more than a year.
Yeah.
So definitely there is a consistency.
We're promoting that on our page.
Consistency. Just listen how she speaks. I mean, to me, this is like a symphony.
Do you like classical? Do
Yeah.
you like it a lot?
So that's why I make her talk all the time, and mostly I just listen.
Isn't that what men usually do? They listen. No, that's really nice, honey. I appreciate all of that, And again, I'm doing everything that my love is saying on camera is because I genuinely do love to bring light to the household. It's very important for women to be that peace for men. I feel like it's so underrated. It's never been talked about. The house should be a safe haven. It shouldn't be a battlefield.
Exactly.
We should provide as much peace for our men to thrive, because once they thrive, we also thrive. It's not like if you thrive, you're the only one.
Lastly, what do I recommend to men from the West? If you tried many times relationships in your countries, and the common theme was that the women are fighting with you constantly, they're giving you hard times. It's all about basically arguments, and it's all about what they want. And they party, like they're always out. You might want to try to use your passport and to go abroad. Again, Southeast Asia, East Europe, South America. Yeah, just give it a try. Date women for the right reason, and maybe you'll find a good match.
Right, and understand what you want as a man. And if you gravitate towards a more traditional feminine women, then bring out your passport. And that's the time, There's no discrimination in this channel. It's all love, it's all understanding, it's all acceptance, right? But at the same time, we gotta be real about what works and what doesn't work. For the women everywhere, Western, Filipinas, all women in the world, understand the real purpose of being a woman, whatever that is. It's very subjective. My purpose may be different than yours or theirs. So you have to really go into your values and really hone into it and understand what you want to do in life and what makes you happy. And listen to the people that has, good things to say and have good results in their life, and stop the hates and stop the taboo and the stereotype. We're all women at the end of the day, but at the same time, I feel like we should do better. We should do better as women. We shouldn't just talk about these things. We have to show it. So when you say you're a high valued woman, you say you're a high valued woman, then show it. You don't have to talk about it. Make something for your man or do something worthwhile. Don't go against what we naturally gravitates to, which is being the nurturing type in society.
This is it. Stay tuned for more videos, or maybe not.
Subscribe, or maybe not.
It's up to you. You decide.
What works for you?
Your choice. Peace and love.
Literally, I could not have worded that any better to how she just literally laid it all out in black and white, straight on a piece of paper, to literally how lovely makes me feel. And when I'm with her family in the province, and or if it's just me and her and we're just having some time away in a hotel or something, like our first visit. And I know with the next one we'll be spending quite a bit of the time in a hotel, because obviously it's just an extra bit of more of a treat for her, because it's an experience she doesn't really get to have. And obviously with her birthday coming up, it's like an extra treat for her as well, and for me. And just how through the time that I've spent with her in person and all the time leading up to getting to know her and falling in love with her and everything else, just when I'm with her, just like nothing seems to matter anymore. Like all the stress and everything, because like where I was working for a sports betting company just before my first visit, I was just constantly stressed all the time, didn't really want to be there anymore, but didn't really sort of have a way out, because there wasn't really anything that I could go for at the time, so I was kind of stuck there. And then when things came to an end just before second visit, because I left in July. Yeah. So then things didn't end well with the company that shall not be named, for a very underhanded sort of way to put me in a corner where I couldn't stay in there anymore. So I took myself out of the situation, and just the amount of stress from that place and being verbally threatened with violence and everything else, and the fact the company just didn't care if you weren't in their little mini inner circles, and just like during the flight out there, I could still feel all the sort of stress and the emotional damage it had caused me, and just sort of you can still feel it lingering there, if that's the right way to say it. And then within the first couple of days after being with her, just like everything just disappeared. It just literally like a black hole just opened up, swallowed all the negativity, all my worries, all my stress, all the emotional stuff that company had caused me, and it just went and gone. And just everything was positive, just like all the little things that she was doing, she was just doing it instinctively. I was not asking for it, I don't demand it, I don't expect it. But I did ask for massages, I'm not going to lie about that. I did ask for that because she's really good at them. But anyway, I digress from that. But it's the amount of time that she gives to me, the amount of effort she puts in to make sure that I'm always happy. She's always putting me first. She never thinks about herself or ever puts herself first. And outside of that fact, that she's always worried about like her parents, like how they're going to have food on the table. She's worried about the house because it could do with some things to it to make it just a little bit more, to give it a bit more longevity. And she gets so eaten up by just worrying about everyone else, and she's always not putting herself first. And that's the kind of human being I want to spend the rest of my life with, that's always putting others first before herself, because that's just how I'm like as a person. Because everything that I do, everything I potentially think about doing, I always have her in the back of my mind, always thinking about how I can help her, how I can make her life better, because helping her make her life better has a spiral-on effect to her family, to her parents, to children somewhere down the line, to getting married, to making our dreams come true, and just keep just slowly chipping away at that brick wall, just slowly knocking it down, just knowing that every time you hit something, it's knocking a layer of it down, and you're just getting closer and closer and closer and closer to get into the end goal, which is your dream. And for us, it's being in the Philippines 24/7, being close to our family, being able to remodel our parents' house, so it's in a much more, what's the right word, where they don't have to worry about like leaks and things like that or anything else, and giving them a bit more space, making it a little bit more modern, so they've got washing machines in there, they've got better running electricity and everything else, and just sort of but keeping the house as Filipino as possible, because I think it's really, like, for me, like, I would go out into like the kitchen area and just watch people cooking, because there was no oven, there was none of all of this that Western people are accustomed to. Like, they had to do all their cooking on a gas stove and by cooking on fire. And to me, like, when I was in Scouts, like that excites me, and I just find it like interesting, and I'll just spend time just watching this, like, and then watching how food was just so as close to perfectly cooked as possible. But flipping back to the whole point, that like I would, just like what they said, look back at yourself, look at your past relationships. I know I did before I made my decision, even before I even knew what the passport was, that every time I've tried to have a relationship with someone here, it's been a mix of all of these: lying, cheating, using, abusing, girls just dating you for how much money you've got. I'm not saying they're all like that, but a lot of them are, and the more and more with generationally changing, it's getting extremely more worse and worse and worse. And you see all these videos all over TikTok, all over the internet and YouTube, everything like that, with these weird like little street interview things. And like, one of the questions that's normally asked, how much does a man have to earn for you to consider dating him? And these stupidly high expectations, and these girls are not even anything special. They're like 100k, 200k, 300k, and like this one girl that was like, no offense to her, mate, she wasn't what she thinking she was, and she was like, she wouldn't consider dating someone unless they were earning £1 million. It's just like, I'm not being funny. I could have zero money or be earning 100 million a year, and I would consider dating her, even if she could pay me. But hey ho, I digress. But for me, like I was just saying, like, I would seriously consider it. It doesn't necessarily have to be the Philippines. There's so other many more stunning countries out there. There's like, you've got Malaysia, you've got Vietnam, you've got it's not quite in there, but it's close, like Hong Kong. You've got Japan, you've got China, you've got Korea, Mali, Singapore. I think I probably already said Vietnam. And I know there's probably some other countries around there as well. But it doesn't even need to be there. Like the guy was saying, like in like Eastern European countries, like Russia, Ukraine, Poland, Moldova, I guess, and some other ones around there that are safe-ish countries. They're similar, but they're just not quite the level of like what a Filipino is, personally, for me. But then for me, like, one of the really strong sticking points is for religion. And my partner, my fiance, and her family are very, very religious. And I think that has a very important impact on the family unit as a whole, and how how their parents bring them up, how they start to develop by learning through life as they grow older and grow older. And that's why Filipinos are the way they are. And I know there's probably some very promiscuous Filipinos out there, because you get these sort of people no matter what country you're in that are probably like that, because you always have one either side of it, an extreme sort of end. But I know I'm never ever going to regret my decision to look abroad. And I found the woman that I love, who I want to marry, and I can't wait for that day. And just knowing that in about 2 weeks I'm going to be on a plane again, go and see her for her birthday, and she's actually going to get a birthday party this year. It might not be stupidly extravagant, but I want her to have that experience, because I know she hasn't really sort of had a party as such. And I'll go and get her. I'll make sure she has a nice cake. There's lots of food, loads of drinks, and I've got to get a load more of that tang stuff, because it's like this powder stuff, and then obviously you add water to it. It's so nice. If you don't want to drink like fizzy drinks, that's something really nice. It takes me back to being a kid, because I swear we used to have things like that back in like the early 90s. I'm pretty sure. Well, it might have been Sunny Delight. That stuff was bad. That was so bad for you. Anyhow, and make sure she's got a nice present, and I'll make sure it's all wrapped up, and she's got a nice card, and she just has a really, really nice day. All the family together, might get a few beers in and things like that, and just make it really nice. And I'll probably do a little video that day as well, because like for me, I even if I don't even post it on our channel, but it's just something for me to remember. Just seeing her in her element in a party, seeing how a traditional Filipino party happens and how it goes, and hopefully if there's any food left over, they can spread it around and give it out to other people that might need some, and just have a good time. And just being with her, just makes me so happy inside. We laugh loads, we giggle around, do silly things, and just it's kind of like time stops, and it's kind of like in a little bubble with her. It's just so hard to describe how she makes me feel. And yeah, so I think I'll end it off there, guys. So thank you very much for watching. If you like what you see and would like to see more, please don't hesitate to check out our other videos on our channel. We've got our most recent video just to the left, and we'll have a playlist just to the right. Drop us a like, leave us a comment down below if there's anyone else you'd like us to check out, or even if you just want to say hi, I'm more than happy to chat to you guys. We seem to be growing quite nicely. I think it was at 183 or 84, I think, just before recording this video, which is really, really exciting, and getting so close to 200 already. And just before on the way out, don't forget to smash the subscribe button. Can't talk today. Smash the subscribe button, tap the bell icon so you don't miss a video. We'll catch you on the next one, guys.